Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 3 Ride. This week, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series is at Auto Club Speedway for the Auto Club 400. Overall, just a middle-of-the-road race where nothing crazy really happened. There was some action, nothing real crazy. Martin Truex Jr. wins for his first win of the season. He won both stages. He pulled away at the end for a healthy margin when Kyle Busch's team gave him the wrong adjustment on the last pit stop and Kyle Larson didn't have enough time. Now on to the 3 bad things that came out of California this week. Number 1, the inspection problems. This week, before qualifying, 13 cars could not get through inspection to get a chance to qualify. The cars not being able to qualify included William Byron, Ross Chastain, Timmy Hill, Alex Bowman, Denny Hamlin, AJ Allmendinger, Cole Witt, Clint Boyer, Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola, Jimmie Johnson, Casey Kane, and Daniel Suarez. After all these cars couldn't pass inspection, this had many people questioning if it was NASCAR's new inspection intent or if the teams were just trying to get too much. This spun off another change in the rules that we'll get into next. Number 2, the tire change rule coming at a random time. After qualifying, many of the teams that did qualify complained that the teams that didn't qualify would get to start on fresh tires and they would have to start on their old tires. The rule throughout the season has been you start on the qualifying tires. This changed on Friday night when NASCAR decided to allow teams the option to buy tires or to start on the tires that they had. I feel like coming up with a random rule during the weekend instead of waiting till after is just a weird move by NASCAR, and we'll see how this goes on in the future when they're going to change the inspection stuff this weekend in Martinsville. And number 3, Lowe's leaving Jimmie Johnson and NASCAR. Yes, after 17 years, Lowe's is leaving Jimmie Johnson, and now they're leaving NASCAR as a whole. I don't know what Lowe's is thinking behind this move, whether it's something coming from the higher-ups in the business, as we've seen from other companies like Target with them leaving all of Chip Ganassi and all their motorsports. This makes me think that many big companies don't see NASCAR as a vital tool in advertising. Last year, Jimmie Johnson won 3 races, which for Jimmie Johnson is a semi-low number, but for many other drivers and sponsors, they would kill to have their driver win 3 times in the Cup Series. I just feel like this is a bigger move for other companies that we'll see now come sponsor NASCAR to get out, because Jimmie Johnson has 7 championships with the team and has won 80 plus races. As we see in NASCAR, I see many teams running with the same big companies, like we see multiple teams with Cessna and Bass Pro Shops on their car. So potential replacements I see to sponsor Jimmie Johnson are some of the JRM sponsors moving up, such as One Main Financial with Elliott Sadler, Hamlin, who sponsors the 88 and other various cars for JRM, maybe Pilot Flying J, who sponsors Michael Annett, or Armor or BurgerFi moving up from the 9 car this year. Or Brandt's moving up and taking less sponsors roles within the 7 car in the Xfinity Series. There's a small hope for me that maybe Home Depot would move in and sponsor Jimmie Johnson just to show Lowe's what could have been. Now on to the 3 good things that came out of California this week. Number 1, the Toyota tussle. One of the bright spots in this race was a battle between Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. where they went at it for a lead for multiple laps. This led right into the pit stops where Martin Truex Jr. would take over from Kyle Busch and take the lead and then never look back. It was one of the great battles of the race this week. Number 2, Kevin Harvick's wreck opens the door. On lap 37, Kevin Harvick went down to show his displeasure with Kyle Larson. What he did not think was that he would bounce off of Kyle Larson into the wall to end his day. Once Kevin Harvick hit the wall, it felt like energy was just injected into the race that we would finally get a new winner after 3 weeks of Harvick dominating. The 3 cars that had the chance to get the win were Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and Kyle Larson. Now after this wreck, we'll see if Harvick can get on a new streak starting next week in Martinsville. And number 3, Martin's March begins. Yes, capitalizing after Harvick had his incident, Martin Truex Jr. won the race to show that the champ is back and the champ will be here and you'll have to go through him to win this year. Now we'll see going into Martinsville if Truex can start his own Harvick-esque run and potentially add on to win more races than he did last year, which was 8, and to dominate with all those playoff points. Now what I'm looking ahead to this week at Martinsville for the STP 500. Number 1, Martinsville is an equal shot for all. As we looked back in the past, many smaller funded teams could potentially show up and spoil the day for the big time guys. A sleeper pick for me would be AJ Allmendinger, who in 3 of the last 4 races has finished in the top 10. In 2009 he finished 9th in the first race. In 2012 and 2016 he finished 2nd in the first race. In 2017 he finished in the 6th. And he hasn't been bad in the second race either, with a 9th place finish, a 10th place finish, and 3 11ths. AJ Allmendinger could be someone to spoil the weekend this week and get their way into the playoffs. Number 2, rivals. As we've seen in the past, short tracks bring out tempers and drivers. In the past in Martinsville and just recent history, we've seen Kevin Harvick and Austin Dillon go at it in a truck race, Brad Keselowski and Kurt Busch, Joey Logano and Matt Kenseth, and just last year, the last time the Cup Series was here, between Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott. Will we see new rivalries pop up? Will Denny Hamlin and Darrell Wallace Jr. get at it from their incident at Daytona? Who knows, but this week we could potentially see a tussle on pit road and potentially a Santa Claus-looking fan going at Denny Hamlin again. And number 3, Chase Elliott's redemption. As stated in the last time the Cup Series was here, Chase Elliott got dumped in turn 3 by Denny Hamlin, ending his chance to get his first win and to put the 24 car back in victory lane for 2 years. Now, months later, the Cup Series is back and Chase Elliott's in the 9 car. With Chevy not looking too great on the bigger tracks this year and looking semi-okay, even with a penalty at Phoenix. Will Chase Elliott get his first win this week at the place that came so close to last year and scorned him and turned him into a more aggressive driver towards the end of the season? Well, I'll do it this week for 3 Wide. Tell me what you're thinking about for this week at Martinsville in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.